All right, you made it to lesson number 2. My name is Mike Brooks. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't listened to or watched lesson number 1 yet, I'd say to go back and listen to it. It's really important. It sets the table and really gives a high-level view of what we're going to be covering in this course. And of course, there is the companion podcast that I did where I actually do a case study on my martial arts school marketing that really demonstrates the steps I'm going to be going over here. So, this lesson we're going to be talking about and understanding these main steps. And within these steps, there is a ton of stuff that we're going to be covering. And you'll see as we go through these. And we're also going to get you started with your marketing makeover. You're going to get homework. That's right, there's homework, and I'm going to be checking homework. So prepare yourself. So the big picture, this is kind of the driving force behind the marketing. And that is I call it omnipresent marketing. It's kind of a style of marketing. And the result is that everywhere my audience is, I want them to see me. I want them to be so tired of seeing my face after so much time that they're just like, all right, I got to hire this guy. I'm going to be everywhere, omnipresent. And that's what I want to coach you to do through this process, is to be every place possible where your prospect is. And, after a while, when you do this, they say there's a marketing term called a touch or an impression. It takes so many touches or impressions for somebody to believe in you enough or understand you enough or even notice you to make a decision to go forward with whatever it is they're going to do, whether it's, to get your free report or white paper or to get some free piece of content that you created, get your newsletter or buy your product. And think about it. If you walk into a grocery store and you see this brand new coffee right next to your old coffee, you might just ignore that because you're used to grabbing your brand. You've never even heard of that. You have no idea what that is. You ignore it, right? Then you go home and on the radio on the way home, you hear an advertisement for it. Then later on, maybe a day later, you hear somebody talking about it on the news. Then somebody talks about it on social media. A friend posts a picture of it. And you've seen all these things. All those things are impressions. All those things are touches. And after a while, you forget that you didn't know who they are, and you just know them, and you like them, and you trust them because they've come into your space so many times. Being omnipresent. So everywhere your prospect, your audience goes, you want to be there. So here's the method. My world marketing versus your world marketing. So my world marketing is all about me. It's all about me as the marketer. I'm going to tell you what my product is all about and what it's going to do for you and why you should buy it. And I'm going to ask you to buy my product, and I'm going to be, sending you advertisements for my product. It's all about me. It's all about my product. Versus your world marketing. Your world marketing is about you. It's about your problem or your audience's problems. My world marketing talks to a prospect. We sell prospects. Your world marketing, we talk to an audience. An audience, we entertain an audience, right? We educate an audience. We're a resource for our audience. So it's important to adopt this method, I believe, very important. I've been doing it for 10 plus years. Commit yourself to your world marketing or their world marketing, right? Your audience's world marketing. Worry about their world, not your world. Now, there is a time and place for asking for the sale, for sending out a clear-cut call to action to buy my stuff. But using your world marketing as a methodology is going to shorten and make the sales cycle easier because they're going to trust you, they're going to like you, they're going to know you, and that's what we want to do. We want to be talking to them, talking to their needs, talking to their problems. So who are we talking to? This is a step, is to know thy client. Know thy client means understanding who they are, where they hang out, what are their burning questions, what keeps them up at night, The internet allows us such an amazing way to dig in and get any kind of information on our prospects, our audience, that we can. It is incredibly powerful. And it's going to blow your mind when I show you some of the ways we can find out information and data on your audience. In the old days, when I started in the martial arts school 10 plus years ago, everything was offline. The process was completely offline. I literally picked up my phone to call people who had quit our school to find out why they had quit, why they left. I wanted to find out everything I could about my prospect, about my audience, so I knew who I was talking to. And when you understand what their burning questions are, what keeps them up at night, what itches need to be scratched, you're going to have a way to create powerful marketing messages for them. So your homework, some reconnaissance. What is important to your audience? What are some questions, problems? Go out there and figure out where your audience is. And listen, here's some extra credit homework for you. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call your clients. If your clients don't buy from you on a regular basis, or they left you for another firm, give them a call and ask them, what was it that made you leave my firm? What was it you liked about us? What was it you didn't like about us? Call up people who haven't bought from you in a long time, or bought from you 2 years ago, and find out how things are going with them, what kind of issues they're having today. And you might get you're going to get a ton of information out of them, but you might get a sale out of it. You might get a repeat client out of it. Sometimes, people sit in their office and they go, ooh, the phone's not ringing. Well, you know what? Make somebody else's phone ring. Pick up the phone and call. Ask how people are doing. Reach out and touch someone. So your homework assignment is your recon. Find out what's important to them, what questions they have, and what problems they have, your audience has, that need to be solved. Do it offline and online. Your USP. USP stands for unique selling proposition, and we really want to understand what our USP is, what your USP is. What makes you different than everyone else? You don't want to be me too. You want to set the bar way, way, way higher than everybody else and be something completely different. Are you selling benefits or features? People who don't have a USP or have a hard time with it usually is because they're selling features. Start thinking about the benefits that your product gives your client. When I talk about my business, I do SEO and social media management. We do websites. So if we're doing search engine optimization for a client, we do link building. We do on-site SEO on their website. Those are features of what we do. A benefit is what that does for my client. And understanding problems helps you understand the benefits, and understanding benefits will help you understand the problems. And it will help you formulate your unique selling proposition. And here's the thing, when you get your arms around that bigger USP, and it's even really can be defined as a mission, the mission that your business is on, you'll make things that are smaller. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. Call them tractor beams. You'll make these things that have their own unique selling proposition, but work off that higher level unique selling proposition. And through this process, we're going to become an evangelist. We are going to understand what's important about what you are doing. How can you package your message in a way that's passionate to you, but even more importantly, passionate to your audience? And sometimes when we're running our business, we get lost in the profound effect we have on our audience, how life-changing our product can be. When I was at the martial arts school, I suddenly realized what we were really doing. We were changing lives. We were saving kids from getting into drugs. We were getting kids who were failing school and all of a sudden were passing with A's, and their lives were changing. So that became our USP was built through that. And I became an evangelist for selling martial arts, but I wasn't selling martial arts. I was selling what it did for people. And I want you to think about that. And I'm going to work you through this. This is just one of the steps in the process that I'm outlining here. I'm going to work you through the process of how to become an evangelist for what it is you do, so that when you go out there, you're not selling, you're passionately helping to influence people, to change people's lives. That's going to elevate you and your message above your competition. And you're going to love what you do. You're going to enjoy it. So let's talk about your target audience. That's the next step in the process, is understanding who your target audience is and segmenting your target audience. What different questions do different segments of your audience have? Now, a segment of an audience is every business has segments to their audience. And a big problem in the world of business, and in my example I talk about this a bit, how we segmented it and targeted, they try and be everything to everybody. They try and fit all of their products into one little basket. You can't do that. If you're an insurance agent, for example, you sell car insurance and homeowner mortgage insurance, right? Maybe you do those two things. Those are two completely different segments. You don't talk to car insurance people the same way you talk to homeowner insurance people. If you try and sell them the same way, you're going to lose them because you're not speaking to their problem. Now, let's take car insurance. There's car insurance for teens, there's car insurance for young adults, there's car insurance for people with families, for senior citizens. All of those segments of the audience need to be spoken to and messaged differently. So break your audience down into segments and start understanding what different questions that your segments of your audience have. Here's some homework for you. Break your audience into segments. So these are the tools that we're going to be getting into. A lot of that earlier stuff, the stuff I just covered, is understanding who your market is, starting to work on your message. Then we're going to get into the tools. Main content hub. You are going to need to create content in this course. Content is king. Content is what makes the world go around. I want to transform you into more than just a content creator, but a media company. And don't let that scare you. I know it scares a lot of people to think about that. I have clients who work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they find time to do this, and they're really successful at it, and you will be too. Don't let it scare you. It's going to be easier than you think. A blog is the perfect kind of content hub. I love that as my main content hub. I can turn my blog into a website. I can turn my website into a blog, and then you can send everything out from that central point. We're going to connect social media. I mean, we're talking all the social media channels we're going to go over in this course. We're going to get advanced into advertising using pay-per-click on Facebook, for example, and it's going to get pretty deep. Audience tractor beam. So this is the thing that you're going to give away for free to get people to take action to get into your sales funnel. I call it an audience tractor beam because it's something that is so interesting and necessary for your audience to get their hands on that it pulls them in like a tractor beam in a good way. They're going to see this thing and want it. And each tractor beam speaks to a segment of your audience. So one of my tractor beams is a free report that teaches Facebook marketing. It speaks to a specific segment of my audience and it's valuable to them. So we're going to create those audience tractor beams, and that's going to be a real important part. We're going to put lead capture into play here. When people get those audience tractor beams, they're going to give you their contact information. You're going to be able to follow up with them on a regular basis for free or for very low cost because you have their contact information. We're going to have offers in there. I'm not going to tell you you're just giving stuff away here. You're going to give away a lot. Just like I'm doing here, I'm giving you this training, but we're going to have offers. We're going to ask people to buy stuff from you. And the thing is by the time you do this process, as you do this stuff, you're not going to have to even ask. The offers are going to be so easy. There's not going to be objections. It's not going to be like sitting down and hard, cold selling somebody. It makes life so much easier. Then we're going to incorporate other media into the picture. It's not enough to have your own content hub. I'm going to show you how to use other people's content hubs. I'm going to show you how to use other people's social media channels to get your word out there and elevate you and drive tons of traffic for you. And then traffic. We're going to work on opening the floodgates and bringing traffic in. If you follow all these steps, you're going to have a dialed in piece of marketing or pieces of marketing. And what I mean by dialed in is that marketing is made to convert. It's made to convert. And when people come there, they're going to see it and they're going to want it. And then metrics. We have to have metrics in place so that we know what's working and what's not. And then it becomes a game of tweaking for conversions. We drive traffic to our offers. We see how it converts. We change things, tweak things a little bit, test them, against each other, split test, and see what works and take away what doesn't work, add what works, and up the conversions. And it just becomes a game of driving traffic, getting conversions, upping the conversions. And it becomes much easier once you put all this stuff in place. It's all automated. It's all there. It all happens on autopilot. It becomes really fun, really easy. So here's your homework. Your recon. What's important to your audience? You've got to find out. Start finding places to listen. Where's your audience hanging out? Break audience into segments. Break them down. Figure out those different segments in your audience. I'll write this out on a pad. This is great information for you to have. Tractor beams. Start thinking through what kind of tractor beams you can build. What's interesting? What's going to be the one big interesting piece of whatever for your audience? And it may not be a free ebook. It may not be a report. It may not be a video. It could be a talk you do. It could be a coupon that you're going to give somebody that's so valuable. 5 FAQs. So tractor beams and 5 FAQs. What are those frequently asked questions people are asking you on a regular basis? I know you've got them. People call you up probably and say, hey, what's this? And next person calls you and asks you the same question, and you get asked that same question over and over and over again. You want to identify those frequently asked questions. Why do we want to do that? Because if people are asking that, they're probably Googling it. So it's going to help your search traffic. But it's also going to be a great thing that's going to pull people into your content, because that's the question I wanted to ask. So start thinking those through. Jot those down. All right, so you made it through. In the next lesson, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get started on your content strategy. So next time, we're going to start talking about content and how to make it super easy. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, right? Content does take work. It does take effort. Without content, there is nothing. This whole thing is really, it's crucial that we have good content for what we're doing. And I'm going to show you the right way to do it. I'm going to show you the right way to do it, and I'm going to make it as simple and painless as possible for you. So stick with me. Don't get turned off by that. Don't get scared by that. Make sure you do your homework, and I will see you next time. You did a great job. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you leave your questions on the blog, and shoot me an email if you have any questions as well. Get in touch with me. Lots of ways to get in touch, and I'll see you on the next one.